Hi, my name is Elazar Hernandez. I'm a graduate student at the University of North Texas. I currently work for the AR department at one of the optical labs for Walmart, one of three in the country. What I'm going to be presenting today is a sorting prep guide for our prep department, which is going through a big change pretty soon. It's going to convert all job aids and job prescriptions, going to convert them to white paper. Um, for the past over 10 years, we've been using colored paper kind of like to sort and distinguish jobs based on the color of paper, which was F14 foundation was purple, wash was brown, everything else was on white. Kind of a ways and a means of saving money for the company. We're converting everything to white. A white paper is just a lot cheaper for everybody. It's a lot cheaper for the company. It's a lot cheaper for the consumer. It's a lot cheaper for everybody to purchase. And in doing that, we're passing savings on down from ourselves down to the customer, making the glasses cheaper, faster, better, improving our equipment, doing all kinds sorts of stuff like that. But welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. Um, Again, same thing. I work in the AR department. We currently do have a process for sorting and connecting all job aids with their jobs in our department. In due time, we are going to be completely transferring everything to white paper. So, what that does initially is it's going to make sure that everything is going to be printed on that paper. It's going to be printed on the paper with whatever is going to be job location it's going to go to. It's going to have what kind of job it is, what kind of lens it is. It's going to have what kind of coating it needs on it. It's going to have all the information that is required. The only difference now is that the associate's actually going to have to learn and read the actual prescription and not look at it just based on its color. It's going to actually need to be known through reading. The one of the issues that we have here is sometimes some of our associates they have a little bit of hard time reading in English. So what I'm working on as well as this, after I'm finished with this project, I'm working on a Spanish one. It'll help guide some of the associates a little bit better, especially some of the older associates. But basically, our topic is to change our sorting. We do have a process in place, but because of the white paper and because of what's happening, I mean, we want to change it completely. We want to make sure that everyone's ahead of the game, make sure that everyone knows what they have to read and what they have to do in order to sort the work properly. The audience for this project is going to be the associates of the AR department. We want to make sure that because they know the process so well, we want to make sure that they're able to like basically adjust to the change. And it can be hard for anybody. It would be hard for anybody to change something they've been doing for 10 years. But just because it's a change doesn't mean it's a bad change. Change can be good. One of the problems that we're having is basically some of the associates, they're so used to reading and not reading the prescriptions. They just look at it based on color. That they have a hard time actually reading and knowing what the type of lens it is, what type of process it is, what type of foundation that it needs. So we're going to make sure that we're able to train and properly show all the associates what we have to do. Some of the course and lesson goals and objectives the trainee will successfully sort jobs coming into the AR department. The trainee will separate all work based on the type of lenses. Separate all wash jobs from foundation jobs. They'll be placing the work in stacks of 10, which is the max number of trays that we can carry per our asset protection department. We'll verify that the correct traveler is placed with the tray, and then we'll make sure that we scan all the work that it needs to be scanned whenever it goes into the AR department. The trainee will verify based on his prescription printed onto the lens that the job matches the prescription. So every lens that we make and manufacture has the prescription printed onto it. It's very small, very hard to see. You'll never actually see it with a naked eye, but we do have magnifying glasses that help us find that, and we know exactly where to see it on the lenses. Some of the components for the trainees that we will need and that we will require are going to involve beginner computer skills. Um, Not necessarily so many like knowing how to use Word or knowing how to use PowerPoint, but basically just knowing exactly what we have and being able to log into a computer with their process, with their logins. We're going to have access to the conference room, obviously, because that's where our training is going to take place. And then obviously we're going to have access to the anti-reflective department, which everybody that's going to be in the training will have access to the anti-reflective department. The instructors are going to knowledge of the sorting process, which they'll get an advanced screening, and they'll be up to date on what's happening and what's going on. Knowledge of the anti-reflective department, not because just sorting is part of the AR department. They need to know the entire AR department and see how it ties back with them. Obviously access to the conference room and access to the AR department as well. Some of the learning activities. Training will separate all work based on types of lenses. So we have many types of lenses. We have 13 types of lenses that we produce at this facility, and some of the main components involve the employee, the trainee, knowing all types of lenses. So every lens gets separated differently. So that's going to be a very, very, very important process in getting the trainees learned with the types of lenses and how they're sorted and what to sort and what does and doesn't go into AR, how to distinguish those as well. I will use the survey. After the in-classroom training and after the on-site training, I'll provide the associates, the trainees, with a survey, see how they like it, see what I could improve, see anything that could be done. As far as evaluation, what we're looking at is how tough the instructional design was successful. Who will determine this? Will there be an outside unbiased observer satisfaction survey? And I will be able to determine this. My instructors, if it is successful, the number of mistakes that occur after the grace period of my training will be less and less and less, and they'll be lower to basically none. There will be a 3-month grace period because of the change and because of how we work in the department. I believe 3 months is plenty of time for the associates to learn the process. Does the assessment relate to your evaluation? How if the trainees are successful and answer all the questions on both assessments correctly, shows that the evaluation works and there's a positive evaluation. If the students / trainees, if they score below a 90, then obviously they could use some improvement. And I know 90 is a very good score, but I would just want to make sure that they know this basically perfectly before it's even implemented. And that's my goal with this timeline. We're going to be training in classroom. It's not going to be necessarily in the morning, but it's going to be after first break. Normally everybody takes their breaks around 9:45ish. I would say 10:15 to be safe. We're going to go in at 10:15 and we're going to be finished a little bit before lunch. If we have to, we can go in after lunch as well, just to finish up on anything that we might have missed on. As far as the format that best meets the needs for the learners and instructors is a classroom setting and on-site training, and that's specifically because we do a classroom training because it helps the trainee with what's going to happen. But then the on-site training is probably my favorite because we actually doing it, working with our hands, and that's one of the best ways that I learn is working with our hands. As far as resources, we're going to need the conference room, we're going to need the projector, the tablets on each desk, pen, paper in case the employee wants to write down any notes. We're going to need the dry erase board, TV, and a DVD player because we do have some basic movies that we always have to show whenever we provide new training to our Walmart associates. Everything pretty much is in place. There is going to be a 3-month training period. We're going to start off obviously with the beginning of the training in the classroom training. We're going to go to on-site training, and at the very end of the timeline is going to be the complete 3-month grace period. After the grace period, I'm going to provide another survey that's going to help us and help me identify anything that might be wrong, anything that might be needed to be changed. Now we're going into the job aid. And when we look at the job aid, our introduction, we're pretty much defining what we're going to do, what's going to happen in the department, and why we want to make the change. Some of the equipment and that we needed for this training purposes is computer, projector, pen, paper. In the AR department, we are required by law to wear a lab coat, latex gloves, a face mask, just for our safety and our personal protection. So all of those things are going to be required. We're going to set up early in the classroom, in the conference room. Employees arrive at 7. That's not the time that we're going to do the training because of what happened in the last project, but we can start setting up at 7. But we won't begin the actual training until about 10:15, 10:30 is what I would say. There's a very easy way to get to the slideshow. You could even just type it in the search bar in the conference room computer as new AR sorting process, and it'll give you the presentation. I made it available on the public drive so everybody can access it from any network as long as it's on the Walmart network. Now what we're going into is the actual PowerPoint and the training. The new sort process for the anti-reflective department. The sort process is very important and requires precise attention to detail and reading the prescription, because all of our jobs are going to be printed on white paper from now on, and that's the main point that I want to get across to the employees, is that that's going to be very important. Sending any job to the next department, the next area from the sort process, you're required to make sure that what's printed on the paper is matching with what's printed on the traveler. And that's important only because if they get mixed up somehow, that will cause problems in our department and in the machines that we use. If a lens lets white light completely through it, like in the second picture here, then it does not belong in the AR department, because the AR actually requires an anti-reflective coating, which basically doesn't allow so much light, whether it be incandescent light or LED light or halogen bulbs, to light to come through. Now, any lens that shows a spot like the one on the left, when placed in the light, is fine. You don't have to be alarmed. There are going to be some lenses that come through like that, but the AR reflective process, it will fix this. Sometimes you're going to receive travelers that look like the one on the right. It's going to be green, and it's not correct. It's not what we want. It's not what we want for our department. Along with the F-14 travelers, we'll also be using wash travelers, and they'll actually say wash on them, just like the prescriptions. They're going to say wash on them. So it's going to be very easy to show it. Very, very easy. After the classroom's training is completed, with the written exam, they're allowed to, employees will take a written exam after the classroom training, and they'll take a written exam after the on-site training, and each one the questions are in specific and they're in place. They're on here as well, just in case you want to read over them. Everyone will get a copy, but they're going to be on here. They're going to be located on here. In case the trainee does not meet the required 90% for the on-site training, the trainee must repeat the steps of the on-site training portion. And it's very simple, very, very easy to understand. Everything as far as the process on how it goes. So what we have now is we have an actual sorting process. And these are the operating procedures. These are the operating procedures for the sorting process. And in here, it'll give you exactly the information that you need to know. Basically what kind of protection equipment you need, how to set up, how to do the operation. It'll give you in specific detail exactly what to follow to get you across the job completely. And I believe that I made it simple enough that any employee can understand, whether you're new, whether you've been here 10 years. I try to make it as simple as I could and as simple to understand. In the time that I did have to do this and that I was able to actually place with the associates that I worked with, it worked very well. It worked very well. I did choose a specific shift, which was B shift. They work Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 7 to 7:30 p.m., 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And I chose this shift just specifically because the way that they work, and I've worked with them longer, and whenever they have any issues, they're very vocal, and that's what I like. I want to know what I could do better. What could we change? How did we make this? What didn't come across so easily? I want to know all of the training. And whether it was conference room training, whether it was the on-site training, everything was for everything. I want to know what can be fixed and what can be done better. There are key points. Two key points being considered for the training project are: can the trainee effectively sort the job aids coming into the AR based on the information on the prescription, not the color paper? And the sort process, is it working better, faster, and training once the training is implemented? And that's basically what we want. We want to make sure that we're able to implement this, and we're not going to slow down the employees or hinder them in any kind of way. We want them to be working fluently, the flow to be good, because there's going to be times where we're slam packed with work, and we want everything to work and them to understand the process working perfectly. Like I said, everyone's going to get a copy of this. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will be sticking around, and I will be here for the next 4 weeks after the training is done. So any kind of questions, just come to me, let me know, and we will see what we can do. We'll see what kind of answers we have for you. Thank you so much. My name is Elazar Hernandez. Like I said, I'm a graduate student at the University of North Texas.